Thank you all for coming this afternoon. It being such a gorgeous afternoon to be out and about. I'm not sitting here, but it's just for an hour or so. In September of 2013, my friend Margie and I went to Machu Picchu. Well, the Legends of Peru was the name of the tour. It was a Smithsonian Journey tour of Machu Picchu and Lake Titicaca. As it was a Smithsonian journey, we had a dedicated lecturer who made it so that we had some extra sites to see, other experiences, and that weren't on the regular tour, and evening lectures. Didn't make it to all of them. Our lecturer was Professor James Kuss, a retired geography professor from California who has spent years in South America and especially Peru doing archaeology and leading tours. And here it says that, I don't know how I do that. Anyways, that Machu Picchu is at 7,970 feet elevation. And we started our journey in Miami at 9 o'clock at night, and we went over Panama and down the coast and made it to Lima, Peru at 10 o'clock the next evening. So that's like, yes, 11-hour flight, and well, you get time changes along the way. Let's see, this slide, not this slide, but this slide shows the difference in elevations that we were going to. Lake Titicaca was the highest elevation. Now what'd you get as elevation sickness? But to combat that, you drink cocoa leaf tea. Cocoa leaf makes cocaine. So we were just fine when we had our cocoa leaf tea. It's only legal in Peru and Colombia, I think. Anyways, these are scenes out of our hotel window in Lima. This is a golf course, and they think that maybe some of these mounds might really have, you know, sacred sites under them. I love architecture. You're going to see a lot of architecture of and pictures of, this would be like a Spanish colonial. Out here, we're outside of the Rafael Larco Harem Museum, and here, sorry, my double chin, houses a unique display of privately owned pre-Hispanic ceramics and a lot of pre-Columbian figurines. There's also a separate gallery for erotic Peruvian ceramics. To see those, you have to come up to my apartment and see me sometime. And like I said, you'll see lots of pictures of beautiful flowers, very interesting cacti, and when I was previewing this at home, if I had been a smart person and done it earlier, I would have maybe taken some pictures out. But anyways, and here we go with the different art. A lot of these, well, here's a beautiful bowl. And these are drinking vessels. You know, just be careful how you drink out of them. That, I think, is a doctor. We'll say that's my father. And somebody here is getting their throat slit. And some of these are from the Moca, which are a northern Peru tribe. This is made of feathers, and it was like an apron that would go around you. And the gold and silver work. This is a quipas. Now, the Incas had no written language. And so they would take these strings of various lengths and tie different kinds of knots with different colored threads in them, and then the runner would run from one village to the next, and then finally find out where the emperor was and hand it to him, and somebody in his court knew that that meant there are bad people on their way. I don't know what it says. Nobody knows. But that was their method of communication. This again is made out of some feathers. And here we'll see some of the beautiful gold, silver, and bronze war clubs, decorative pottery. And this design goes all around, and this is what it looks like if it were stretched out. That would have come over the shoulders and front. Beautiful mocha earrings. That's a nose thingy-do hanging down there. And look at all those little itty-bitty tiny beads. And this is so, and that one, you know, stringing, well, first of all, making the beads, putting the hole in them to string them, and the gorgeous headdresses. But no idea what they represent. Men's room and the ladies' room. Lots of places throughout the world I have taken pictures of the symbols for the ladies' room and the men's room. And we had lunch here. It's very nice. The food was geared towards American tastes. We always had a breakfast buffet. And this is just along the street. I don't know if this is a used car lot or what, with the hoods up. And the fruit, you know, you had to bicycle that fruit around. I liked how there were 2 cars in one parking spot. And this park was really neat with all these ramps for skateboarders and kids on bikes to do tricks. Beautiful mosaic. Lovers. And I don't know if it was this girl's special birthday or if she was a model or what, but, and that's one boardwalk. This is the Pacific Ocean. Sort of like the Steel Pier, I guess. And this was the mall that was there in Lima. Trumpet vine. Like I say, I think like things like grill work. And then there was this bridge that went across from one building to another. Green parrots. And this church had fallen into disuse. And the roof was pretty much gone. And there were all these vulture-y kind of animals up there. And a pretty bird. Pretty bird, pretty bird. And here you can see the terraces, which originally would have been used for growing crops or whatever. This one, look at it. It's an electrified fence above it. You know, and all the grill work. Just, you know, I like the trees along the way. Then we took a flight to Cusco, where we visited the church of Santo Domingo, which was built on the we'll get to it in a minute. These are pictures of the Andes. talk about, look at those roads. And this is coming into Cusco. That's the landing field there. And when we got there, they put on a show for us. There you go. And then this is Cusco, and we're going to visit the Church of Santo Domingo, which was built on the foundations of the Temple to the Sun. And this is also in the university area. And this was our, really our first introduction to Inca architecture, how they did things. Now these are not, this church is not Incan, not from that period. Although, lovely courtyard. Just being arty. And here he's showing us how everything just fit together. And you couldn't get a blade of grass between any of those stones. They also had no metal tools. They had no wheel. And they would put little holes in things and places like, and then in the one that would go on top of it, it would have corresponding things that stuck out so it would fit. Here's what a village would have looked like with a central courtyard and the thatched roof. There's the king coming along, emperor. And this is outside. And that's all university over there. Now this is the lunar calendar, which was used for festivals. Come on, wrong way. And this is a solar calendar telling them when to plant. I just thought this was so neat, this divider with all these different works of art there. I don't think they were able to attach your bicycle to. Never saw a bicycle. And this is where we had lunch this one day, and we were entertained. Fly to the Condor. And we went to a lovely, markets. And these are just, how the streets are there. Uphill all the way. And around the corner. And now we're on a bus ride out into the country. And this is just the countryside with old relics. Here are terraced hillside that they would have used for planting. And now we're going to be seeing, you have llamas and guanacos, which are wild llamas, and then you have alpacas and vicuna. Vicuna, I think, is the softest. So and they're all camelids, which mean they've got 2 toes. So you got all that? Okay. I hope you forget it. And so we were able to feed them, and they're just so cute. There's my friend Margie. I don't know if they, do that to their ears to signify that they're with a certain herd or what. And how would you like me to pose? Straight up, licking my foot? I think that might be a vicuna with its longer neck. And this, we're coming up to my famous slide, which I just love. It looks like a 2-headed llama, but it's that little one who's chewing on the other one all the time, who just got in the front of it and smiled. And there are their feet. That is a condor stuffed. And here are ladies, all the wolves that are dyed. And here they're telling about the different dyes. All natural. Here they're showing the weaving. Drop spindle, men weave, they knit. Indigo. And I don't know what the others, but those are the colors they get out of them. And there's no pattern. There's no piece of paper there saying, now go here and do this, and now take this one up and do that. They're shucking corn out on their balcony. Here's just another side along the road. But anyways, there's no pattern. They just know what goes where with their weaving, because they've done it for generations. Look at what the woman's carrying. Some little sheep there. She's got one. Okay. So there's your oven. There's your dinner. Guinea pig. There's your dinner. Whoops. Oh my God, come on, go back. It's no problem, folks, no problems, no problems, no problems. Because I know you want to see the guinea pig. There you go. So, and we went to a home for lunch. The wife was a lawyer, and yes, there was guinea pig, and they passed around the plate of guinea pig, and I found the smallest little bit I could find, and that was the one I had. So, this is the sign for the special beer they make, and when you see that plastic bag out, it means it's fermented and ready to have. This was the lock, or our doorway into our room. And he is a shaman, not a witch doctor, but a priest of the old faith. And what he is doing is making an offering for Pachamama, who is the Mother Earth. And then it gets thrown into the fire, and this is the city where we were that night. We're near the place called Maris. And these are salt pans. There are approximately 5,000 of these, and they were developed by the pre-Incans and are still in use today. They're individually owned and handed down from generation to generation. The salt comes from a subterranean stream in the hillside. The water is channeled into the separate pans. As one layer dries, they open the channel and let more water run in. When all the layers have dried, they skim off the top layer, which could be pink or white, and it's the highest grade. Next is white salt, and the bottom layer is used for industrial use. It's very communal place with everyone helping to harvest each other's salt pans. Taxi? Jitney? And this is a home we went to. Oh, this is before we get to the home. This is a little town. And just architectural features. Yes, they are plowing with oxen with a wooden plow while they're talking on their cell phone. And you can see how this rock has started to be cut. And they've taken the depressions, the natural depressions in the area, and the Incas then made them into terraces to try to grow different crops to see what grew best in the different areas. Father and son. Desolate. Isn't she cute? She is so cute. So here we're stopped. Not there. I'm going to learn not to go and hit that one thing. Okay, so these are all the dyes that, all the natural substances that make the dyes that they grind down to make the pigments. Here are all the women with their drop spindles, making the yarn. And she, washes the fleece. You can see the clean and the dirty. Dinner. Now this cactus has these bumps that are called cochineal, and when you grind it, it makes this red, and when you add water to it, it gives you that red coloring. And that's how you make the red dye, the cochineal dye. Can somebody help this person into the room? This resident in? I don't know who it is. Oh, she made it. Okay. And here's all the stuff we could buy. Here they're setting up a loom. This red shawl of mine is from here. And like I said, there's no... Now we're going to wrap the baby up. So pretty well swaddled, but they're going to unwrap her. She had just been fed, so she wasn't making much noise. But she is real. And then Mom puts her in the blanket, and 1, 2, 3, there she goes over the shoulder, and off we go. And this is that beer that this is our tour guide that day, and he said, it's extremely powerful and you need to develop a taste for it. And we didn't do that. And this was where we had lunch that day. They had these beautiful gardens. And this was the jitney that, this was at a resort that got people back and forth and suck it in. And this is the ruins of the fortress of the temple of Ollantaytambo, built in the 5th century. As I said, the Incas left no written word of their culture, so the archaeologists have to speculate on the different areas which were used and gave them their own names. Margie and I went with the lecturer over to another part of the site where he showed us how they brought the water into the site from the mountains, and the others climbed all the way up there. These would have been homes, granaries, temples, storerooms, and those, they hung things from that. And over here is how they, brought the water down from the mountains through different channels. And I guess they decided just to leave those up there and they didn't need them. But see look how they got those together. But look at those smooth sides, those right angles. And there you can see the trough where it would have come down. Well, there. And there are our friends up there. Hi. And this is the town where Ollantaytambo is located. Very narrow streets. Rushing water, sewer, whatever, down the street, washing everything away. She's got quite a pack on her back. And we went into this home, and it was, like a courtyard, and I think several families lived there. Dinner. Was dinner. This is an altar to the family, to the ancestors. Here's a bigger picture of one, the desiccated llama. And then we take a train trip the next day to the Sacred Valley to get to the city of Agua Calientes, which is where you start from to get up to the Machu Picchu. I don't think there was a straight piece of track anywhere. And this was the little town of Agua Caliente. It was very pretty. This was our hotel, the Inca Terra, on the right. Little bridge we had to cross. And now we're headed by bus, 20-minute bus ride up to Machu Picchu. And that is part of the Inca Trail. And here we have Machu Picchu. It defies the laws of gravity, physics, and architecture. It was virtually intact and only discovered in 1911 by adventurer Herman Hiram Bingham. Again, there's only speculation about the origins. It was built in the mid-1400s and abandoned a century later. It encompasses 5 square miles of terraced stonework linked by 3,000 steps. The site is divided into 18 neighborhoods. There are dry moats separating the agricultural terraces from the urban areas. The sacred rock in the Temple of the Sun, right here, and these projections, you would hang things maybe like a curtain of some sort from there. And these are the dry moat we were talking about. Anyways, that one picture aligns with the winter solstice, which is June 21st, because we're in the southern hemisphere. I mean, it was something to see. I mean, anybody said to me, "Oh, can I take your hand?" You're darn right. I mean, it was so everything's uneven and steep, and when your legs are so short as mine and the blocks are big and deep, it's rough. Come on. And here, you see these? They have holes in them, and then you would wrap something around the opening. But look here. There was no wheel. Where did they come from? Were they done on site? How did they fashion them? There's an engraved lintel here. Yes, I got up that high. That was the highest I got. The next day, folks went to a higher spot. And of course, there were flowers. So, how to cut the rock. Okay, to cut the rock, you take a pointy rock and another rock on top of it and keep chiseling until you can make these holes. And then you fill the holes with sand and water. And remember, we're way up. And at night it gets very cold. And the water freezes and expands and cracks the rock. And then you take different stones and keep smoothing the stone till you get the finish that you want. steep. That is steep. How perfect they all are. Okay, this is the wall. Oh, shit. Excuse me, shouldn't have said that. That's what I meant. But I know how to fix it quickly. In case you didn't see how steep it was the first time, you can see how steep it is the second time. Now, this is wall of the sacred, of the sacristy, and this rock has 32 angles in it. Can you imagine trying to cut 32 angles? This is the highest point. We have the main plaza. And it's just a walkway through, you know, two buildings. Crutch. Physical therapist, I had to do that. This was at our hotel. It had a botanical garden. So the one day when everybody else went back up to another place, Margie and I decided to stop and go to the botanical garden to see all the orchids, the hummingbirds, and that was our hotel there. Hummingbird, lizard, and another bird. Itty bitty orchid. This is tea growing up there. And these vines just growing out of the rocks. Another itty bitty orchid. And this, I was so happy. I took the picture. Margie said, "There it is, where is it?" And so I just shot the picture. This is a glass wing butterfly right here. Can you make out the outline of its wings? So I was really pleased to, when I got home and looked at them, I had it. And then we took the train back to Cusco. And it was a long ride. Past more terraces. And this is a devil who did some kind of a special dance and push sticks in front of us and stuff like that. This is where people who are doing the Incan Trail stay for the night. Or they can stay in those, suspended from the side of the mountain. Crazy. And they had a fashion show, which you could purchase the alpaca Scarves, sweaters, jackets. Now we went to this other travel to the most impressive ruins near Cusco that is pronounced sexy woman, but this is how you spell it. Some of these precisely fitted boulders are 33 feet high and weigh 360 tons. Makes you think of Easter Island. And I guess that's just a drainage hole. And just some little huts. Even with that big boulder, you still cut precise angles in it. The lintel across that opening. And then those would have been, put a stick in there and push that stone into place. Cell towers all over the place here in Cusco because of all the cell phones. A normal street. This is the center of town with the cathedral and the fancy shops and restaurants.
Are cars not allowed?
Pardon?
Are cars not allowed?
Yeah,
See too many.
but they don't have many. Yeah. And it might have been the day or the time of the day. Now we're on our way to Puna, which is on the coast of Lake Titicaca. And we stopped at this old church. And a village. See the steps going up the side? Aw, mama and baby. And this was interesting in that, you know, the lower course had the dressed stones, and then the upper was more, I think, rabble with like stucco kind of stuff on top of it. I guess that's because some of the wheat's laying flat. I don't know. Just for the window. And these would have been, you know, homes, granaries, storerooms. You go inside one and there's a smoke hole. There's your water source. We were there for market day. She's been around a while. And then here we are high up in the Andes, and there's a tourist trap. Come and stop and buy our wares. A glacier up there. Desolate. Aren't those colors lovely? Okay, now, let me tell you. So the British decided that they would come over and put a steam ship on Lake Titicaca. Well, they had to take it all apart and then get it up through the Andes from the Pacific coast. So it took quite a while. But when the Brits came, they came with their headgear. And they were just fascinated by the derby hats. And so the women adopted the derby. And here's Puno on the shores of Lake Titicaca. (1,200 and 500 feet. Floating islands of Los Euros. This is how long the lake is. And you can see, that's part of the reeds, you see. There's I think that was more of a store area. And here, you see how they go back. Anyway, so we get these reeds and they go like this with them, alternate how they're played. And then they stick a pole down in it that goes down into the bed of the island. Come on. And you can see there where the sticks are. And every few years they just go and I forget what he's doing, showing how deep it is. There's a duck. They keep ducks. This is fish farming. They keep their fish in there. So it's dinner time, pull out a fish. To tell you the truth, I forget what that is. But there's one of the ladies with the derby, and the pom-poms on their braids signify whether they're married or divorced, or married or single. And I can't remember which is which. The little kid hiding. This is a home. There's the bed. Margie with the woman who lives there. They have solar panels, so they have TV and batteries. Their cooking fire. And let me tell you, this stuff is really weird to walk on. I mean, I think about a child, first learning to walk, and you know how they stagger and everything. Well, that's what we were doing, and more than likely, if the kids were on real ground, they wouldn't know how to walk. And you could get up on, I think some of the folks took a ride in one of those boats. There's a bundle of reeds. Just a view of the edge. And the prows are like the Viking ships with these different heads on them. They're, catamaran shaped. All made out of reeds. There's the island, a lookout in case somebody bad's coming. And that's why they were developed, because to get away from the people coming in. This is the grade school. And the kids just, they were so cute. They loved our tour guide, and I guess every time he brought a tour over, he played with them. But, I mean, they're just dressed like mini moms. No idea why that's up there. But anyway, there he is up on a pile of reeds, playing King of the Mountain with the kids. And there's a man out gathering reeds. And here we're Ila Tequil. I never took Spanish. And there's one of the villagers. And we had a picnic lunch here. There was a long hike up that road. And this place was made with some bricks, some mud bricks. That's a bowl. And over there is Colombia. Now, in this over here, even the men have to know how to weave. And before you can marry, you have to weave your own hat. And that's the hat that he wove. Look at all the petticoats. And that little one trying to clamber up. And there's Colombia on the other shore. And that's where we started from. We gave this mother and her daughter a ride back to Puno. And this is at the market. You never, this is the way these people live, so you just don't know what you're going to find at the market. Not that. I don't know how that got in there. High winds are coming soon. There we go. There's a head for you. There's a head and ass, butt. And they use these old tires for planters. And just the different wheats and rices and vegetables. They talk about Pittsburgh steps. And you're already starting out high and can't breathe to begin with. And this is a home on our way back to Cusco. And everybody could get their picture taken with a llama, and there's me and Margie. I love that one with chewing on the straw. Ah, so cute. And here she'd been grinding her grain. There's her oven. I don't see dinner sitting around. Oh, excuse me, there's dinner. Dinner had to be there somewhere. And that's meal for another day. And the mother had died, so this is the grandmother raising the grandchild. The inside of their house, no cupboards, just a string or a pole, a nail. Okay, now, here we go. It's time to learn how to throw a bolo. Now get this fly swatter away from the kid. And here I think he's just showing us the tools that they have to work with to furrow, plow the ground, and then to make the furrows. It's just, you know, beat the poop out of it and get it smooth as you can, and then take something else and whack out a little more. Those are bridles. And now we're going to another area called Sulistani, and this is, these were non-Inca tribe built these, and they were burial towers. And I thought they were interesting because of the different colors. And from here, we returned for our 11-hour or more trip home. We had a hotel room. Each of us had a hotel room for an hour. And there, the tale ends.